Cars weaving down the straight here in Marrakech around this new area just to the southeast of the city. And the colours of the national flag on the car of Mehdi Banani and just about everybody else around this circuit. Massive interest in the local driver. James Nash leading the Yokohama Independence Trophy ahead of Alex McDowell and Michel Nukia. Freddie Bart in 4th place, despite I talked to him after free practice saying he still feels a bit of a tourist in his BMW. He's not raced a BMW before Monza. That really didn't teach him much, except for the fact that they're not great in the rain. And here on this street circuit again, trying to learn a very different type of racing car. Rear-wheel drive compared to front drive, not helping. Going past the nightclub at Pasha and coming back down the back stretch. As you can see, loads and loads of crowds all around this circuit, jamming the grandstand opposite us, jamming the 3 floors of hospitality units looking over the pit lane. And so much interest. 5th race weekend for the World Touring Car Championship here in Marrakech. And Matt Neal as a driver, this is a great place to come because it is just no second chances. You've got to be on it.
Well, every driver likes, you know, they try and make circuits more and safer, you know, safety conscious these days. Every driver likes the old classic circuits, no holes barred, where you've got to put everything on the line, and that's what street circuits racing all about. Because the concrete walls, as Tom's found out, are very unforgiving. Many of the circuits, Gordon would have just been able to run wide and pick the car up and get back to the pits, but as it is, he's looking at a bucket of bolts, really.
The leading car heads into the pit lane. We are getting ready to go, forming up in 2x2 formation. Don't forget that as they come around the hairpin and over the start line, they must drive through the grid markings on their side of the road. So if you're in the line behind the pole man, you must go down the driver's left, and if you're on the line behind James Nash, the blue and white Chevy on the outside, you must be through those grid boxes. If you fan out across the road, we may well get a wave by, as we've had several times here in Marrakech. Getting ready to get underway then, round 3 of the championship. The green, red and white of the Castrol Honda. Gabriele Tarquini leading the field. McDowell's out of line significantly. So too is Tom Chilton, but they get the green light anyway. Tarquini takes off like a scalded cat. James Nash is going to try and tuck in behind him, but Ivan Muller and Michel Nukia are side by side, and Muller's got the inside line. Nukia's going to try and go around the outside. There is room there in corner 2, and he's going to go inside James Nash. Good move by Michel Nukia. Nash is driven wide. Muller will take advantage, and there's a sweep round the outside. There's contact behind it. That was Banani going backwards, I think, around one of the Engstler BMWs. Well, Matt Neal, couple of tangles there. It wasn't. It was Stefano D'Aste going backwards. But Gabriele Tarquini gets the lead, and Nukia ahead of Nash versus Muller. James Nash on the inside into corner 4. Oh, Muller can take the outside line. Chilton ran into the back of him. They're 3 wide through there.
Yeah, Nukia was the opportunistic one then. He made the best of Nash and Muller fighting together for position, and managed to squeeze ahead of them, and then left Nash and Muller to sort of scrap it out behind him. And
Huff's got in front of Muller, and he's not in a Chevrolet. Huff in first, in car number 1 in front of Muller. Is that Chilton's car flapping at the back, or Tomo's? Muller looking for a way past the Serre, on board with Ivan. And Rob just moving a little to the right. Mark Basseng locking up behind, and he's going by Tom Chilton. Chilton will come back on, should come back on in front, as he probably ought to, on board with Muller. That is the battle for 5th place. So Muller was 3rd at the first sector, now down to 5th. And Chilton down to 8th ahead of Oriola, and Monche from 10th on the grid is down to 13th place. Tarquini leads from Nukia and Nash.
another good one to watch, Martin, is going to be Montero in the second Honda. He's lying in 13th position at the moment. He obviously had an off in qualifying, which prevented him going through to Q2. He had a little drama in morning walk this morning where he had a damper locking out, but hopefully they've settled all that, and it'll give him a good fast car to try and have an attack forward from where he is.
Well, the last two world champions squabbling over this position now. Rob Huff in the red, white and black All-Inkle Motorsport Seat, car number 1. He's in 4th place. Ivan Muller is right behind. And of course, now Muller knows what a Seat can do because he raced for Seat before Chevy, but also Huffy knows what the Chevy can do, where it's stronger than his car, so he will do his best to try and defend in those areas, and that means denying Muller under braking.
Yeah, these two have raced nose to tail, side to side, door to door for the last 3 seasons in the same kit, so they know each other inside out, they know each other's tricks. You know, Huffy's got a new lease of life with the...
Dastey's in with the left rear puncture. Muller got a very good run on the back straight. Please, let's see that battle. He's gone around the long way on Huff. Huff did not get the pickup he wanted off the corner, but now he's coming back. And now Muller can't hold that outside line too long, can he? Rob Huff is going to outbrake him again and hold off, and Alex McDowell is right there as Muller rides the curbs. Maybe Rob has still not got that low-speed pickup quite as much as he needs. Certainly Muller's car is very quick off the corners. Tarquini leads there from Nokia and Nash, but all eyes are on the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th.
If anything, you would say that the Seat seems to have better top end than the Crew seems to have better punch out. That has Muller got him?
No, he's got to go the long way around the hairpin, and Rob's happy to let him go the long way around the hairpin and control ground from the inside line. Somebody else down pit road, I think that's Dastey going back out. Oh, Mehdi Benani. Benani was facing the wrong way. He's just come back out. So he comes out a lap down in between 3rd and 4th. That could make life very difficult indeed for Rob Huff, because the local Moroccan driver is right in front of him now in what is not as quick a car. And that's the sort of thing that when you're in Muller's position, you see somebody pop out of the pit lane in front, you go, right, bring it on, here we go.
Yeah, what Muller needs to do now is to try and stay calm, because I can see him getting rather agitated pretty quickly. Because
for the lead, Michel Nuccia trying to push his way around Gabriele Tarquini, but the Italian holds on. Wow, it's all starting to liven up now. Well, right behind, there is Rob Huff in 4th, car number 1. We're right behind him with Ivan Muller now. Can Huffy get by the BMW of Benani? Why are there no blue flags for the Moroccan? Because he's a lap down. They should be waving furiously at him. There's a white flag there for a slow-moving vehicle. Let's hope there isn't a slow-moving vehicle. All these marshals are very experienced. Yellow flags, there is a slow-moving vehicle. It's Stefano Dastey. So again, that robs another overtaking manoeuvre. And Huff is now going to be right up behind Benani at the hairpin. Mehdi Benani knows he's a lap down. Match should not be defending, should be doing his level best to park and get out of the way of the whole field.
I'm surprised he's going to have some wrath off the stewards. Our old friend John Glennon's
well, in fairness,
wheeled out his rule book unless he...
in fairness, who's showing? Oh, Muller's up the inside. Who's showing the blue flags to him? Nobody is, and they should be. Muller goes up into 4th place, and here comes McDowell alongside Rob Huff for 5th, looking back for Muller. Huff is going to go from 4th to 6th, did not get a good run into the chicane, and that may have been because he was slightly... the line he wanted was slightly ruined by Benani being in the way, and Benani again... All right, you know, he's at home and he's going to go as fast as he can, but he's got no right to be in the middle of a championship battle that he's not part of. He is going to end up ruining people's races.
Yeah, I'd be pretty choked if I was Rob, because...
is that Basseng slowing down, or did he just drift out wide as Chilton took a tighter exit?
I think Chilton just got inside him, didn't he?
I think so. Basseng probably going a little too deep under braking into the corner. Tarquini still holding the lead from the black and white Frisian cow-coloured car of Michel Nuccia. Blimey, there's a lot going on, and all of it good.
Now, Benani's still in front of Muller. You've seen him flashing his headlights.
Yep. And still no blue flags. Now, most of these marshals come from Le Mans, and they understand motor racing, but there are no blue flags. Dastey is back in. It's more than a puncture. Benani, well, yeah, do you know what? That's really not helping. Staying out of the way of one car in a queue of 4 is not enough for a queue of 3. Tucks back in behind Muller, but again, Huff is stuck up behind the BMW, can't take the line he wants, and that allows McDowell to latch right onto his back bumper. Huffy needs to go tapping Benani and going, come on, get out the way, Sonny Jim. I think, actually, if you look inside, Huffy was gesticulating wildly there inside the cockpit.
You'd be getting pretty damn annoyed here now.
Yeah, well, he'll be on the radio going to his engineer, get him out of the way, go down to the team. No point putting on the indicators and still staying flat out. That is not helping anybody.
That's actually a confusing thing there. We just saw him put on his indicator.
Yeah.
Now, in the UK, a lot of the drivers put on the indicator which way they're going to go. In Europe, it's the opposite way around, where they put the indicator on for which way they want the overtaker to pass, and it can lead to a lot of confusion. But Muller's now want to get his toe down to. He can see that this wins up for the grabs. If Nukia and Nash are giving Gabrielli so much to think about, then yeah, it's got to be something for Muller to have a go at.
Well, we're not even at mid-race distance. This is lap 5 of 11, and Nukia right up behind Tarquini. Nash set the fastest lap of the race last time round, but of course he's in the slipstream of both of these, and these two Chevy drivers must try and work together to work. You know, James has got to slipstream right up on the back bumper, do some bump drafting with Nukia, get by the Honda, and then get on with racing Nukia for the win. Because at the moment, if they fight each other, Gabrielli's going to win this, and neither of them are. You've got to have a little bit of forethought, Matt. Yeah,
the problem Muller's got is he's out the slipstream now when the three in front of him are actually helping each other. But yeah, we've got in second and third, you've got Nukia and Nash in two opposing Chevrolet teams. So Nash obviously wants to beat Nukia, and it's not letting Nukia have a clean scrap with Tarquini. So it's actually playing into Tarquini's hands.
Yeah, it's making life a little less difficult. I'm not going to say easier for Gabrielli, because it certainly isn't, because Nukia's having a look at half the chicanes on every lap. Muller in fourth. Bernani finally gets the message from his team to, would you please get out of the way? But I mean, really, he could just have slowed down into one of the chicanes 3 or 4 laps ago without any dramas. He's a lap down anyway. I know he wants to put on a good show for the crowd, but, you know, sometimes you've just got to deal with what you've got rather than what you would like.
Okay, in the last sector.
And that's Chilton going very slowly offline, and into the pit road comes the RML Chevrolet. Yes, he's going into the pits, and that suggests to me, Matt, that might be a puncture or a broken damper from the curbs.
It can be anything, Martin, anything at all he could have picked up, but unfortunately that leaves Tom out of it. Whether he's picked up some damage to the radiator or something when he got into the back of Muller.
Might well be.
But Muller was 3.3 seconds behind that leading trio at the middle of last lap. He's now just 2.9, so he is making headway on them.
Well, of course, because they're all over each other. They're fighting each other. They're battling Gabrielli. They're making him drive offline. They're all driving offline. And Thiago has walled the car again. Same corner as in qualifying. Is that the same corner of the car? Is that the same corner on the track? No, he can't be that far back, surely. Tarquini leads. Oh, it's out of corner 2 and 3. Oh, no, I beg your pardon, 4 and 5 into the long left-hander corner 6. And again, take too much of the curb here. And look, he's left a wheel behind. Andrea Adamo, the car's designer, does not like seeing his babies treated that way. Overheating for Tom Chilton, we hear from Ben Constantinos in the pits. Thanks for that. And we are going to have a change for the lead before the safety car. Nukia gets in front of Tarquini, who hops across the curbs. The safety car will await our new race leader, but can James Nash get by? No. Full course yellow now, James. Yellow flags, James. James, yellow flags. Passes Tarquini anyway. He can't hear me clearly inside the car, but surely he must be able to see those, and they're on the radio to him. His engineer will be saying, James, give the position back.
Now, my question is, were the yellow flags when Nukia got past Tarquini,
no,
or something's happened with Tarquini's car then? That was too easy.
No, he slowed right down as soon as he saw the yellows. Okay, here we go. Well, this is Nash trying to hand back the place, and Tarquini going, pass you under the yellow. I don't think you find me doing that.
Yeah, he wants...
Okay, now, here's the pass with Nukia. No yellows looking back. No yellows. I think he got it clear before the safety car flags came out all the way around the course.
It's not... Montero's not having a good time at the minute, is he? Every time he seems to have...
Yeah.
I know he had a drama this morning, as I said earlier, with... one of the dampers too. Yeah.
And Norbert Mikulits in the third Honda. Smoke coming out from under the bonnet. Ben Constantinos wandering up there. He'll let us know what happens with that. Oh, and there's a strut as well as the wheel lying in the road. Well, let's take a look again at the start of this race. Gabriele Tarquini blasting away from pole position. Tight pack right behind. And in the battle for second place, Michel Nukia. Watch the black and white car. Goes the long way round the outside. Counterintuitive, but that gives him the inside for the right-hander that follows, and second place. And Matt Neal, that was good thinking driving. Saw the potential for a gap.
Yeah, that was opportunistic. Nash had got his eyes on Muller, as he thought that's where the threat was going to come from, and Nokia just sneaked around the blind side. It was...
Well, look, that was the incident where Tom Chilton ran into the back of Ivan Muller. He had nowhere to go. The gap he was looking at just failed to exist. And an overheating Honda as well. It's blown an oil line somewhere. That is the car of Norbert Michels. Safety car is out halfway through the race. On board with Gabriele Tarquini, rear-facing camera shows Michael Nokia coming the long way round the outside. And you can see yellow flags waved there as James Nash also went by Tarquini. Now, we don't have the front view from Tarquini or Nokia of that pass. And again, look, Nash still trying to hand back the place. Yeah. And finally, Gabriele, after a lap, gets the message and goes, yes, OK, I'll do that.
I thought Gabriele was going, I'm not going past you, you numpty. You can...
Yeah, you can swing for that. Well, yeah, but then, of course, all that does is it gets James Nash a drive-through and puts Ivan Muller right behind Gabriele. Oh, yeah, so that's so much better.
That's probably why he's had a good think about it.
Yeah, he has had a think about it. He'll have been backwards and forwards with his engineer on the radio. No, I don't let him by. He'll get a drive-through. Who's right behind you, Gabriele? It's Ivan. OK, I'll let him by.
See that big Luke oil decal behind him.
Yep.
Well, this is good because it's going to bunch it all up again.
Yes. Not so good for those that have got problems. Overheating for Tom Chilton. Well, look at this. That was Muller's last moment dive out to catch Rob Huff unawares. And again, a classic Muller move. Look at this. Looks out. Sold him the dummy beautifully.
Yeah, just enough space for a Chevy Cruze.
Yep.
Slide down the inside.
Well, I'm afraid the safety car is going to be out for another lap or two. Stefano D'Aste, again, the team talking to him this afternoon, learning more about this car every single time they run it. It's not exactly a new car, obviously, the BMW, but he's started his own team this season to run the car, and so they are, instead of just, you know, being in it, him as a driver, they are engineering it. Oh, now Tarquini came off the curbs, was turning, and then the car straightened up on him.
You mean Montero?
Montero, rather, yeah. He's coming off, he lands, he's going right, and then the car straightens up and goes into the wall. So something broke on that left front corner on landing.
Not necessarily.
The
way the anti-lag comes in with these, the power can come in pretty brutally.
Yeah, that's a torque steer. That's another factor, of course, with a turbo car. How would you know about that? I'm sure you don't abuse curbs that way.
Oh, they keep on telling me about it.
Apparently, yeah, your teammate says. Hey.
Flash told me the curbs were pretty rough.
Yeah, indeed. So lap 8 of 13. Race distance can go up by a maximum of 2 laps, which it has now done for up to 2 laps of safety car running. Thereafter, we start to lose laps. That's Stefano D'Aste. Is that blowing water maybe there? And in the background, Mehdi Banani. Blowing more body debris all over the place.
It looks like a snake shedding skin as he's going along.
Well, he shed the carcass of the tyre, so he's trying to get back to the pits with a puncture, going rather too fast. Giving the locals some souvenirs to pick up anyway, or local marshals. Whose broken rotor is that? Okay, so that's what the smoke was coming from. Broken brake.
That is a small brake problem, isn't it?
Yeah. There's only 2 things, I said this morning, only 2 things you don't want on a street circuit: no brakes and no brakes. Doesn't matter if it doesn't go, if it doesn't stop, that's a whole different world of drama. Let's get down to the pits then and catch up with Norbert Michels. He's with Ben Constanduros.
Beside Norbert Michels' car, the broken the disc of the brakes. Norbert's been struggling with brakes for the last 2 races. Norbert, is it brakes again for you?
No, I think it was a disc from one other car in front. So I think it was maybe from Thiago's car, and I just collected it, and it burnt everything inside.
And what was the problem with your car then?
I didn't understand.
The problem with your car?
Yesterday in qualifying, it was overheating, so the water pump was signing a fault, and then the engine was just like when I entered the pits, 110 degrees, and I just decided to come in and let's give a chance to the guys to check.
Hard luck.
Thank you.
Well, it wasn't his broken brake. As he says, it probably was Thiago's, and he just collected a bit of debris. Look, here he goes, going through the debris field. And unfortunately, somebody else's problem puts paid to your race. And Matt, you know, that is part of motor racing, but he can't get a lucky break. Thiago can't catch a break. James Thompson is struggling to have anything other than bad luck. If it wasn't for bad luck, he wouldn't have any at all at the moment, the Lada team. So, yeah, there's a few people could do with a little bit of a rub of the green.
Yeah, Montero just needs, if he's got any lucky clothing or lucky charms, he needs to get them all and fill his pockets up at the minute. And Michelitz is having exactly the same bad of luck. You know, he's wrong place, wrong time. But I suppose if he was going to catch a little bit of that debris off Montero's car, it was brake disc is probably one of the least offensive parts, with struts and wheels and
yeah, well, you know, a bit of
it,
carbon or something would be one thing. That's not going to slow down when it goes into the little bit of mesh in front of the radiator, is it?
Those are quite heavy things.
Yeah, no kidding.
You don't want that coming back at the windscreen.
No, well, perhaps luckily it punched its way through the grill on the radiator. There's Zoltan Zengo, the team boss, doing the job himself.
Gone through the air outlet at the top of the bonnet, or is that the radiator?
He said something, you know, everything started overheating, water pump and everything else, so... Is that a ding on the bonnet? Yeah.
Yeah, he's done it. He's gone through the top, the cam cover.
Wow! It's got a hole in the airbox as well. Right, have the airbox off Thiago's car and the bonnet, which all looks in one piece, the grille.
Thiago's car isn't going anywhere again today.
No, that's for sure. Tom Chilton's might be, though. Bit taped up at the front, but then that radiator... that you get what looks like a car radiator, the mesh part at the top around the Chevrolet badge and that white strip of bodywork, that is just a logo. Actually, the air goes in the hole underneath. Fez, of course, originally the capital of Morocco. That's where Mehdi Benali comes from, and British fans and all comedy fans will know the Fez as the hat that Tommy Cooper, the comedian, used to wear. It's a local hat from the city of Fez. Marrakech in its time was the capital of Morocco as well. As dynasties changed in the royal families, then Rabat became the capital and remains the capital to this day. Our taxi driver was full of information yesterday, wasn't he? He said there's 4 official languages in Morocco. The main language is Arabic. Almost everybody speaks French, of course, because of tourism, lots of them speak English in the major cities. But there are also 3 Berber languages, one that they speak slightly north of Marrakech, one that they speak in the low Atlas Mountains, and another Berber dialect that they speak in the high Atlas Mountains.
But isn't Spanish one of the dialects here in the other parts?
I would think that there is a degree, because of course that Moorish North African and Spanish connection over the Middle Ages was very strong, not through necessarily trade, but often through war. So yeah, there is definitely links with this part of North Africa and Spain. Well, again, looking at the replay of the start, Gabriele Tarquini did everything he could to get away, and he was aided by a 3 Chevy battle behind, with Michel Nukia sneaking into second place there. And Nukia in the black car, again, really going opportunist here. He was sort of forced into it to go wide, Matt Neal, but then, well, it all played out very nicely for him.
Yeah, he was, as I said before, he was watching Muller, James was, and Nukia just sneaked up the outside, and Bob Girante, before the BMs all sort of had a bit of a falling out behind them.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a tangle. Unfortunately, all the BMs towards the tail of the field. Mikhail Kozlowski found himself through there safely. James Nash, Yvan Muller getting together into the hairpin. Tom Chilton found his door shut, and that damaged the front of his car, cooling-wise. Behind the safety car, looking from Gabriele Tarquini at our race leader, Michel Nukia. But Nukia 4th in the championship, Tom Chilton in. Now, for the championship, although I never wish anybody ill, would have been a lot better if Yvan had had a damaged radiator in this race rather than Tom, because Tom, 2nd in the championship, tied with Gabriele, is going to score no points in race 1, whereas Yvan is likely to end up on or about the podium. So the championship leader will score strongly again. And of course, Matt, that's one of the things that makes you a champion and allows you to win multiple championships. As you know, there is some instinct that helps you keep out of danger more often than not, and that you can't buy, only experience gives you.
Yeah, that's why in 2-litre touring car racing you get some of the age and cunning shall outwit youth and skill saying, and you know, it's the guys there at the end of the championship are more often than not, you know, the older sort of more experienced drivers, you know, the likes of Huff and Shedden and co. They're the sort of the new breed, but you know, both of those guys are well into their 30s, and they've been around. You know, Huffy's been in WTC for over 8 years, and Flash has been in BTC for 6 or 7 years, so probably easily. So well, they've got a lot of experience under their belt.
When the man two floors below us, John Cleland, was winning in touring car racing, you were the new breed. Now, you know, you're in the Cleland mould. You know, you are the guy who's been in the championship. Perhaps as long as anybody else out there racing, and that experience, is like as everything else in life, has got to count for something.
I want to get this race going again.
Yeah.
We've only got 3 laps, and the safety car's staying out for yet another lap.
Well, Nukia will be on the radio going, yeah, that's fine with me, I'm chilled, I'm just turning the air conditioning up a bit. But Muller will be spitting feathers. He'll be wanting to get at them, because from where he was in 4th, he's got to have thought that he had a chance. But look, I mean, you know, now with every lap that goes by, what's happening? Cars are coming in with punctures from debris that they're running over. We've had Benani in with a puncture from debris. We've had Engstler in with a puncture from, because they can't be bursting them on curbs. Not at this speed. You won't be riding the curbs. Yeah. So Engstler loses 17th. All right, but
with safety cars out, you have so many laps, and I'm not too sure what the actual regulation is in WTC, where all the laps do not count to the overall race distance.
Yeah, well, we've now gone from 11 laps to a maximum of 13. We can add up to 2 extra laps to a race to allow for 2 laps of safety car, but beyond that, you start to lose races. We've now got to race distance.
The cars start to run out of fuel. They've got very limited fuel tanks.
Exactly. So they're filled for plus 2 laps. At safety car, which is not even 1 lap at normal speed, is it? So, oh good, our timing's just gone off. Yeah, I mean, we're on lap 11 of what will be no more than 13 laps, and it doesn't look like the safety car is coming in this lap either.
Well, he can do it up to 2/3 distance, so we've still got time for him to come in.
Yeah, but we haven't been notified yet, and he'll be told to turn off the lights. We should be told in advance on our timing system. Safety car in this lap, we've just been told. So as he gets into the braking area here at the 150-metre board, beginning sector 3, the lights will go off on the safety car. Thiago's wreckage has been recovered. Of course, now with a very short turnaround between races, he might not get on the grid for race 2 either. Getting ready to reset the field and restart the race. We'll be on lap 12 of 13 here in Marrakech. Thiago Montero's wrecked Honda is taken back to the pit lane for the team desperately to try and get him ready for race 2, as Norbert Mikulits watches Michel Nukia getting ready to lead the race. 2 to go here in Marrakech as we go green once more. Nukia leads, pulls away. Tarquini worrying about Nash and Muller and Huff and McDowell and Basseng, and Oriola in 8th. Coronel in 9th. Jimmy Thompson, only in 10th place, has not made the progress he'd hoped for. Nukia locks up a little, showing Matt how cold the tyres have got at slow temperature behind the safety car. They should be almost at melting temperature, but now they've cooled off probably 10, 15 degrees.
Yeah, it's not just the tyres, it's the rear tyres that they might have a problem with, and that's in the braking area, but it's also the temperature of the brakes. The engines could be either running too hot, too cold.
Ooh,
this is definitely a dash for cash with 2 laps to go.
Good call, dash for cash, liking that. Nash in 3rd, Muller in 4th. Huff's not a part of it yet in 5th place. Tomo's on the back of this queue. It is the top 10 cars. Nobody else is close. I don't know what Fernando Monche was doing. Maybe he was having a little snooze, but he was certainly nowhere near the back of the Lada as they restarted. Well, Nukia's got away from Tarquini, and he's going to leave Gabrielli behind him in that Honda to bottle up everybody else and try and canter off and win this race.
But Tarquini definitely seems up to speed now. He must have had a problem when Nukia got past him, because it was all so easy, but now he's got good pace again in the car.
Well, again, you see maybe his tyres or his brakes have cooled down again and come back a little bit to him, as you know, maybe he's actually got a car that's handling a bit better than it was after 5 or 6 laps of hard defending of his lead.
Yeah, he might have had the engine getting a wee bit warm or something, but Nash is definitely having a look. Tarquini knows the tricks, though.
Yep. Sticks on the inside. James Nash can't get slowed down enough. Muller trying to go around the outside, didn't work. Nash, though, Now Muller's behind him. This is a long enough straight, Matt, to make a move. Here comes Ivan. And Ivan won't be saying please or thank you. He will be coming.
Yeah, but Ivan's got his eye on the season title rather than just one race place.
However, he knows that of his two closest rivals, one is already out, Tom Chilton, and one is 2 places in front of him, Gabriele Tarquini.
Huff is sniffing.
Yeah, Huff is there, and McDowell is there. Huff and McDowell together have towed right up behind Muller, who's right behind Nash. Nukia leads, last lap of the race, down the back straight. Tarquini is with him, and it's all on for the final podium spot. Muller looking at Nash. Nash defends. No way through there. Not at the back straight yet. Sorry, that was the second straight. Now through 4 and 5. Long corner 6. This is the only corner on the track, isn't it? Everything else is a hairpin or a chicane. 7 and 8, the chicane. Down onto the back stretch now, Martin. And Tarquini is closing. It's on for the win. Tarquini won't want to start on pole, Matt Neal, and not win this race. Flashing his lights. He got a podium in Monza in race 2. Can he win it? Can he outbrake Nukia in the 3 final braking zones to win this race? Nash and Muller 3rd and 4th. Huff and McDowell 5th and 6th. Basseng 7th. 8th place dropping back is Oriola. Coronel 9th. The BMW is actually in the top 10. And then James Thompson in 10th spot. Flying over the curve. Big sideways moment for Basseng. Last straight down to the hairpin for Nukia. He's going to win this. Is Nash going to hold on to the podium? Can Muller go the long way round the outside? No. Nash is going to take 3rd. Tarquini is going to take 2nd. But it is going to be victory in Marrakech race 1 for Michel Nukia. The safety car didn't give him the win, but it helped him keep it. And Huff almost gets by Muller for 4th, but just comes up short by 24 thousandths of a second. Delight there for Nigel Stroud, the engineer in the headset, and for the Nika Racing team. Well, last time we saw Nigel, he was engineering Seats for Tiago Montero. And Michel Nukia wins in Marrakech. Is that his first street race victory in World Touring Cars? I think it must be, mustn't it?
Yeah, that's quite surprising. I don't know if it's because the ambient is high, but fastest lap time then is quite high. It must be 2 seconds off where they were last year.
Well, don't forget that we had all that weather, resurfacing of the track. It's still very green. It hasn't rubbered up quite the same as maybe it might have done. But nevertheless, Michel Nukia, Gabriele Tarquini and James Nash are the podium at the end of the race.